Changes or additions to the agenda? Right, any motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
It's Eddie, any second? Tatiana seconds. Any comments? All right, can we just say that passes? Do we need to do all in favor? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Okay, previous meeting minutes, those were sent out earlier this afternoon by Elizabeth. I don't know if those are,
I have, yeah, I think those are copies there for you.
okay.
Just voting on it.
I don't think I have a copy of that. Okay, so hopefully people have had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from last month. Any changes or additions to the previous meeting minutes? Okay, motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Motion to approve previous meeting minutes.
Okay, so Eddie moves to approve. Anyone second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments or anything? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, hearing none, the minutes from last month are approved. Treasurer's report.
No treasure report, I didn't get to the bank yet.
Okay.
I know Elizabeth wrote a nice letter to the banker. Not sure if you got any response.
I did not. I can call her tomorrow. I have not heard from her, and then I left for Japan, but I didn't see anything in my email when I returned. So I'll give her a call tomorrow. I think that we, the new outstanding item is that they would not give us access unless we could confirm our 5013C, or sorry, our tax ID status that confirms us as a nonprofit. They provided me the last 4 digits of what they had on file. And when I did a little bit of research, the last 4 digits match the tax ID number for the municipality of Anchorage. So we must have used the municipality of Anchorage number. I included that in my letter. It should match what we have on file with them. Hopefully that's enough to gain us access. And if not, we may have to start getting cranky.
I think would be a good idea, maybe call to bank manager or something, because it looks like the regular banker is not responding, maybe she's not there anymore, whatever. And just reach out to someone different, just look. Like we need to speak up.
Yeah, when was the last correspondence with someone?
She had,
Like
she
when was
had
last?
given me, yeah, I did speak with her because she called me right before I wrote that last letter that you guys were CC'd on with the tax ID number in it. And then I have not received back from that email that you were CC'd on, and I can't recall exactly when that was, but that would have, that email that you two, Robin, you and Tatiana were CC'd on was the last communication to them from our end. But I do have her number. I can give her a call tomorrow and see if we can at least just get an appointment and go in. She said something about in the last email, she said something about sometimes her email doesn't send out, which feels very unlikely, but I'll give her a call regardless, get us an appointment.
Because I think even if her email isn't working, the phone does, so you know, she
Right.
could call and say,
Agreed.
hey, let's schedule another time to meet, and her email isn't working or something.
Agreed.
Do presentations from our guests as our next.
We could, that is a change to the agenda.
You can vote on it and choose.
I mean, we did already though.
What else do you talk about?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think of old business.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess maybe, do we want to cover just the old business and then that's the next item? That's it.
No, is there an update on Trump, so?
Well, there are the two things where we send the budget and
Yeah,
also, Christopher sent the email to Trump's,
Yeah.
examination and he did not receive response yet.
okay, we did get something. Christopher and I got a cancellation from the assistant to the mayor that they can't come during the Arctic.
Okay,
They have to reschedule.
so we need to figure out different.
He hasn't, returned. He wanted to meet to just plan, but it won't be during the Arctic. What I think.
Arctic encounters.
Yes. Anyway. I'll let you know if I hear from him.
I guess we'll figure out another day.
Okay, so at this point it's postponed. Okay. Okay, so I guess we can move on to new business. The first order of new business is an additional Sister City proposal presentation for the group in the Philippines.
Yeah, or just for the two.
Oh,
Yeah, right here's the middle. Yeah, you want me to pull it up and share the screen?
sure. Oh, that will help you too.
Yeah. Oops, have I pulled it up yet? Not that one. Oh, this one. Okay. At least. Oh, am I sharing? Yes. Can you guys see this plan, conceptual plan? Yes, on screen?
No, we
No?
can see your calendar.
Oh, nice. Did I miss something? I wish I made my appointments.
Yeah, go to the, yeah, choose which.
Yeah, right here. Ta-da. Now you can see it.
And the
Yes.
right one.
Yeah. Yep, all right. And should we go around and introduce yourself, just your names quick?
Yeah, I'm Shane Galeska. I live in Sand Lake, if that matters. I'm Evelyn Abelio, here downtown Anchorage.
Oh, go ahead, Shelley.
I'm George Chavez McClay, Professor of Journalism and Public Communications at UA. Hi, I'm Maha. I'm a student at West High School. I'm a junior and I'm treasurer. Nice.
I'm Adler Dalpan, school counselor and also the advisor for Philippines at West.
Hello, my name is Tara Bautista, and I'm the Vice President of Filipino Club.
And I'm Rear Alex Fidel, a junior at West High School, and I'm the president of Filipino Club in West.
My name is Mercy Sullivan. I'm here in Anchorage.
Quinn Bacall, Anchorage Alaska.
Ken Kramer, Montenegro River.
Yeah, so we're here today, so there was, for some background, Chair Thompson had issued a challenge to the Filipino American community to name a sister city. And so we have come together as a group to start the conversations around first how we identify that sister city and what city makes sense for Anchorage. Taking it a little further back as well, I mentioned I'm from Sand Lake. I grew up in the Sand Lake neighborhood, so I was a witness both indirectly and directly to the Anchorage and Chitose relationship. So for many years, I thought about this. And so when that challenge was issued, I said, I'm ready. I've been ready to share this information. And so we've started those talks. And I think too, the time is ripe to think about a sister city for Anchorage in the Philippines. That data just came out from the Anchorage School District that showed that Filipino is the third most widely spoken language of Anchorage students. And so it's a timely discussion. And today, I think for the interest of time, I'll just do a broad overview of what we're thinking as far as the timeline and how we're going about making this decision. Right now, we're again at the very early stages, and so this is part of a group that has come together to identify first the initial goals of what this partnership would be focused on, what kind of exchanges this would be focused on, and then bringing that out into the community, surveying the community, making sure that our goals align, and then understanding historical connections between Anchorage and cities in the Philippines. So there may be cities that we're not even thinking about because we are just this small group. And then from there, we also want to engage, of course, the broader community. That includes our youth and bringing in their perspectives as well as the perspectives of Filipino American business owners here in Anchorage. There are many actually, and exploring sort of the potential benefits of a mutually beneficial relationship between a city and Anchorage that would make sense. So this entire plan is really centered on that community-based, community-centered approach and making sure that we speak to all of the stakeholders before we come back to the commission and present you all with a city. And of course, part of this too is gauging interest from the cities that we identify and making sure that we have alignment in our goals for those partnerships. So with that, I welcome any feedback and any questions.
Are there any cities that you have in mind?
So there, 3 have been put forward within our small group. One is Baguio City, the other is San Fernando La Union. Actually 4. So there's Davao and also Cebu City. But again, that is within our group. We don't know if there's a city that we aren't thinking of that may be more aligned. We have to kind of figure out what those connections are within Anchorage and
Okay. So you have certain cities in mind that you haven't reached out yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So are there things that you kind of know or have questions about as far as like the existing Sister Cities Commission?
I think what would be helpful is, so we, again, have done sort of preliminary research on the sort of the consistent things that we notice between all the different cities and those relationships. And so I think it would be helpful for us in making our decision, like what specifically does the Sister City Commission look for when you are deciding on bringing on a new sister city.
So I guess I can speak. Yeah.
Is everyone familiar with this letter? I'm bringing things that are 20 years old to the meeting in this letter.
There was a former commissioner.
We're going back. As you can see, I'm also a hoarder. I'm bringing this all over. But in my pile is an official letter with what exactly you're describing. And this would be a letter that you would submit to the mayor, and it says exactly why you want to do this and what are the. Do you have that letter?
I do not.
Well, it's a handy letter. Because it's what the mayor makes the final decision and what they look for, the mayor's office.
Okay.
So I want to leave this with the chair, but maybe you want to take a snapshot.
Yeah.
Well, this is a 20-year-old letter, but you can take a look at it, Marie, and let me know. Yeah, this is the kind of, we're not reinventing the wheel, right?
So my understanding was like just says that this is the correct process to start.
Yeah, I can make a copy.
Well, you can, I'm leaving this with.
Oh, great, okay.
Right, but to start with.
I know.
I'll
email it.
Recommendations.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for being a hoarder.
Yeah. 30 pays off.
Yeah, sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, so, I mean, I've been with the commission for, I guess, 5 years now, so I'm coming to the end of my second term. And so we've had just in those few years, and I think probably every year, there are proposals for sister city relationships. So, I mean, you know, this is something that happens, you know, occasionally. So, I mean, we've had some where it's, you know, really, it's maybe just an email, hey, we'd like to be a sister city, and it's like, well, I mean, it's great to be sister cities, you know, but, you know, certainly something to think about is, of course, like the size of Anchorage, the fact that this is completely a volunteer commission. We've had problems, you know, certainly around like 2020 and years like that, where we just had fewer commissioners. So like at those times, we couldn't even really think about bringing on another sister city because we didn't have enough commissioners for the sister cities that we already have. And so, you know, one, I guess, concern that we've had over the years too is just making sure that, you know, that we go for depth more than breadth, if that makes sense, that we go for like making sure that, you know, the current sister cities that we have, that we are maintaining good and strong relationships, that we're not, and I'm not discouraging at all, but that we don't have like too many sister cities to be able to partner with, you know? So I mean, that's just, I think that's the thing that's been a concern in the past. You know, we've had some other presentations where it's like, we maybe only had 5 or 6 commissioners at the time. And it was like, you know, we couldn't at that time. So I know that's been a consideration, certainly in the past. And I think, you know, definitely the commission will have to talk about, you know, do we need to look back to some of those presentations and compare, like, how do we rank some of those things, you know, to make a choice? So, I mean, that's just, I think, some of the considerations that go into, you know, how we decide on adding another sister city. It's certainly been a while since one was added. The most recent is kind of Harbin. There was, it had been a previous sister city long before that. And then there was kind of it's like, what was, Elizabeth, didn't we look at this? It was just a couple of years that there was almost like a break in the sister city relationship, and then it was started up again in 2018.
Exactly.
So there's actually a much longer history with Harbin, and there was just kind of a break in the action. And of course, we do currently have a suspended relationship with Magadan in Russia at this for obvious reasons, I think. But yeah, so those are just some of the like considerations and, you know, things that we would have to talk about and assess and try to figure out, and not at all to be discouraging or, you know, or encouraging either way, but just to present kind of what.
And Robin, if I may add, I think another I think another really important piece that is important to have established, you know, before we can evaluate or before we can proceed, is to just make sure that there is a full investment on this side of whatever that other city is, to be fully engaged in that relationship, because we do have some relationships that are stronger than others amongst our sister city ranks, and you know, you notice the difference between what they put into that relationship amongst our different cities. And I think that's an important piece to be able to evaluate, especially when we're the ones initiating that outreach. I think as a commission, one of the things that we need to make sure we understand is that there is true investment on the side of the Philippine city as well.
Yeah, and I think what you've seen from Chitose is like the prime example. It's so great. Yeah, but I think also, like, I believe Anchorage is their only sister city. Is that correct?
It is correct. Yeah.
So they don't have any, I mean, globally, you know, that is their one and only sister city. So I think they definitely put a lot of interest and effort and, you know, relationship building. And so that makes it pretty easy to reciprocate, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I think some of our other cities, so I'm, Claudia and myself are the commissioners, partner or the liaisons for Darwin, Australia. And that's a relationship that has kind of waxed and waned over the years. When I first came on, there had been this big audio project with interviews and kind of comparing the Larrakia people with the, with some of the indigenous people here in Alaska. And so kind of looking at those indigenous relationships. I would say over the last couple of years, it hasn't quite been as strong of an exchange, but that's not to say it, it won't rebuild. Some things kind of come and go. But Darwin has a lot of sister cities and also a lot of like partner cities. So there's kind of different levels of sister city relationships they have. So it's just comparing like Jitose and Darwin. It's I think it'd be, pretty different sister city relationships. So.
Hi, Emily here. I have a reprieve from my coughing, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the group. It was I really like the plan. I really like there's a lot of community backing from all ages and from all sectors too. So I'm really excited to see what comes next. I do agree with my fellow commissioners, definitely keep like the relationship building and the sustainability piece in mind. But just based on seeing the presentation itself, I think that whatever city that's going to be in the running or at least be presented as a potential sister city, I trust that it was a group decision from the community. So I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you so much.
Daniel, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did. So likewise, I wanted to express kind of the same thing that Emily did, that I'm really happy that you guys are here today. But I wanted to take an additional note. We've talked a little bit about the divided attention and making sure that there's depth in the relationships that we have. But we also have to consider the other responsibilities that are going to be eaten up in maintaining that relationship. For one such example, we have some individuals from the city here attending this meeting. As we add more cities into the meeting, there will be additional responsibilities to our mayor to attend and justify and interact with the various different sister city relationships that we have. And if that schedule becomes too filled with attending to the business of engaging culturally with other cities, it can start to become difficult to focus on Anchorage effectively as a whole. And so we have to remember that these sister city relationships, though they can benefit and build up the cultural aspects of Anchorage, we have to ask what it's going to do for Anchorage as well. And I certainly think there's room for a broad variety of celebrations of Filipino culture here in Anchorage. I mean, it's a significant portion of our community, but these are considerations that we have to think about. Is this going to be something that isn't only just about ratifying that connection, but is truly going to be something that builds up the lives of the people both in Anchorage and in the sister city, whichever candidate sister city ends up being selected. So that, and to me, the most important thing is really that the other sister city, like has been mentioned before, is going to be on board and engaged, actively participating, and finding their own way to invite and celebrate Alaskan culture in their city as well. So it has to be a two-way thing.
And I would also encourage too that, certainly, and I'm sure you know this already, but obviously the Sister City Commission doesn't have to be like the only means for formal relationships with other places. So like my kids, for example, go to Rilkeschule, or my youngest now is still at Rilkeschule, the German school. And so there's actually a couple of partner cities there that are, the kids do exchanges with. It's kind of a rotation of 3 cities. So there's some pretty active exchanges without at all being connected to like the sister city. So, I mean, just within that little tiny school community, there's some relationship building with other cities that's, could be expanded in other ways, but, it's a way to have some connection, between Anchorage and other cities. And that's kind of a cool way to approach things too. So I would guess that, with your club that maybe you have some connections to other cities already and some relationships. So I would just encourage to, keep those up and, if those can be deepened and that can grow into a sister city relationship. Sometimes that's a nice, like, organic way that it happens, that it's like, maybe our school or part of the community really has a strong tie to a particular city, and that just kind of keeps growing and developing, and, you know, that can potentially lead to a sister city relationship, if that makes sense. So that can be another way to approach it too. Because I saw too that you do have kind of a long range plan for this, and I think that's a good way to consider it. But definitely others, please chime in.
I'd like to know like which city in the Philippines already has strong ties here in Anchorage. Which citizens are mostly visiting Anchorage and vice versa, or business wise, with business connections are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nursing, cannery, I mean, and teachers, there's a lot of teachers here as well. Not just Anchorage, but, you know, all Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which city in the Philippines
Yeah.
coming from? That would probably be very interesting to know.
Right.
And if I can add, like Shane started, you know, Chris Constant was the one who encouraged them, and I think for years now, every year at Filipino American History Month in October, he issues that challenge, and, you know, so glad now Shane and several really stepped up and just took off. And I know Assembly Chair Constant was encouraging us with that because of just the population and the relationship with the Filipinos here in Anchorage, that we're, I don't know the rank for Filipinos in Anchorage, but we're in the top 5 probably, or top. So just with that to him, it just really made sense to have one. And so we were encouraged by that. And with like what we've seen with the exchange in Chitose, that's inspiring to see that. We'd like to have that too with the students as well, you know, to have that exchange, being just whatever city is chosen, students from there to come here and see how our kids here, what school life is here, and just Alaskan life. That would be great.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have 3 that are pretty top considerations.
And that's, if I can make a plug for boards and commissions. So the city has 52 boards and commissions, and they support, most of them are an advisory role to the mayor and the assembly. So we have, you know, it's on the website. I can email it to the group. We have a youth advisory commission, youth attention, that talking to you, that we're trying to revive. But the sister cities, they have a few seats available, so you're all welcome, open to Anchorage residents, except for the except for the Anchorage Youth Commission. It's 18 or over, and Anchorage resident. But Health and Human Services, Women's Commission, some are specialized budget advisory because you advise the mayor. What else? Arts Advisory Commission. So, like I said, 52 of them. So we need to have a diversity of age, geography in Anchorage, and just really be rich in that diversity in Anchorage that we need. And so with the new administration, that's what we really are focusing on. So please, I encourage you all to look on the mayor's website for the list of boards and commission, and please apply. Yeah, and like I said, sister cities do have several. Most of them have vacancies, so I encourage.
Is it okay to ask a question?
Yes, of course. Okay. Hopefully this is a conversation.
So I'm curious, after hearing the chair and Claudia, you both mentioned that you are the commissioners involved in the Darwin Sister City with Darwin. So my question is, once a sister city relationship is established, what role and what are the responsibilities of the commissioners in that relationship?
So as far as and Claudia, feel free to chime in, and any of you, because we all are liaisons for different cities. So my understanding is to, try to at least have some kind of contact, like once a month, is recommended, so we can give some kind of update. Some things I think are simpler. So like now with the holidays coming up, in the past, we've tried to at least send have the mayor sign a card or send some kind of correspondence from the sister city, at least from the commissioners, if not from the mayor, to that city, just holiday greetings. If there's, things like elections. So now I've been here for a couple of administrations, so sending a notice to the sister city that maybe we've had an election and, there might be a change in the mayor or something like that. Same for them, if there's some kind of update, maybe requesting that the mayor send a letter of congratulations or something like that. So, trying to at least keep up on what's going on. Certainly in 2020 and 2021, it was just kind of checking in with communities. How are you doing? Are you handling things with COVID? What's going on in your community? And then certainly I think the highlight are things like visits. And so whether it's, inviting groups to come for an anniversary. So Chitose, that was the 55th anniversary, and that was pretty significant. The same number actually with Tromsø, so we've been sister cities for that long. So recognizing those anniversaries, and then if there's opportunities for any of the commissioners or someone, from the administration who visits a community to try and, make that connection to say, hey, our mayor is going to be coming to Tromsø. Is there an opportunity for them to stop in and meet you? And usually there's maybe a small gift that's exchanged. Those are some of the things I can think of.
Kind of
The commissioners, yep, jump in.
Well, I was back in when Mayor Begich was there. But, we look for opportunities to develop the relationship. How can we benefit each other? You mentioned Darwin. We had a delegation go over there. They met with the fire department. Come to find out, their fire department in Darwin is very well trained in fighting bushfires. They have no EMT training. Our fire department here in Anchorage, they do more EMT than putting out fires. That exchange was facilitated through a relationship, through conversations, to just having a connection with that city. And there was an exchange. So we, of course, are always living in the fear of the hillside going up in flames. So to bring in a fireman from Australia that's used to these wild bush fires and how do they contain them, and their expertise was very well received by our fire department. And then conversely, when our guys went over there and they told them more about the EMT training they get, well, that was well received as well. So that was a tremendous mutual benefit right off the bat between two sister cities. I know Tromsø has got a very extensive university, and I know that the University of Alaska Anchorage, as Joy knows, has exchanges with students. And so you just look for those type of opportunities and benefits, whether they're economic, whether they're, cultural type exchanges, but you usually can find something that is a connection.
Right. Good point, right? Like for me, it's my role and my responsibility is to enhance that connectedness, that feeling of connectedness to that other city. That's one of the main reasons why Eisenhower created Sister City Commissions, is to, promote that friendship and connectedness so that we can stop the wars and fighting throughout the world. So that's how I say it.
All right. And I want to point out with the code, and it's on top of it's nice that Robin included this on top of the agenda. And that really is the goal of the commission is there is established a Sister Cities Commission consisting of not less than 9 members to develop programs of cooperation, foster mutual respect and goodwill, and to promote understanding between the people of the sister cities. It's very simple, but there's a lot there that you can do. But per the code, which is the Anchorage law, that's really what it's meant to do. That is the goal in the code for sister cities. So yeah, all the programs that we talked about, they talked about now really falls under those goals.
So just out of curiosity, just because this is kind of fun to share, and I'll try not to monopolize the conversation. But like, for instance, Chitose, in 1983, a boys baseball exchange program was started. That's how that took off.
Oh, nice.
Tromsø, 2004, Winter Cities Conference held in Anchorage. So there was a connection with the Winter Cities. Magadan, the winter of 1999, Magadan was suffering from extreme cold, and that was when Mayor Maestrom was here. and we organized Operation Mogadon. And where we sent 11,000 boxes of food. You might remember this a little bit. Incheon, and I've seen this, the Statue of Hope. You know, we have a lot of international aircraft that come from Korea and stop here and continue on. But there's the Statue of Hope in the North Terminal, and lots of exchanges back and forth. And then Mayor Begich sent 26-pound Alaskan jade monument over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 26. Yeah. And then Whitby, we're sister cities because of our shared seafaring heritage. And so they have the centerpiece of Whitby's waterfront is a whalebone arch that was destroyed. We sent them whale bones. So, I mean, there's just lots of stuff, but those, I'm just kind of, you know, giving you some ideas on how these things come about and what are some of the exchanges and took place.
Yeah, great timing that you're here, Linda.
Tell me.
I know, you just want to bring it back on, it's like the official archivist.
I know.
Like we get to the Fall Harvest Festival.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Unless there are any other questions, we appreciate your time and obviously this will be a conversation that we will continue to have. Are you kind of the point person that we would reach out to or?
I believe I am. Yeah, I can facilitate the connection. And also all the board and commission meetings, including this one, is open to the public. So there's always a public notice in the mayor's page. You're free to attend, especially if there's an online, if it's available online as well. The public is welcome to attend. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for your presentation.
Please, yeah, take some food. Miss Mercy, or anybody else has questions? Adler in here. I'm sorry.
I can.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Great. There's some other items to attend,
Yeah.
so we will continue, but
Yeah.
welcome to stay or you don't have to.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Linda's up next.
This is my world. That is my world. Sorry. Wait until I saw you.
So our next order of new business is actually Linda. We continue to
Well, yucky. Okay, well, I'm just about done now. But, Bill, thanks for letting me join you guys. I, met with Tatiana and Chris, as they were, we got wind of the 55-year anniversary for Tromso. And so we were like, oh, well, this would be fabulous if we could, help, facilitate or do anything to, assist with that. I'm a member of the local Sons of Norway organization, and we have a nice building that we own, Viking Hall. And so we would be more than happy to help in that reception once you get him over here. So it sounded like such a great opportunity to bring him over for Arctic Encounter. But now that you've been advised that that's not going to happen, there might be another one because there's some students from Tromso jumping on this huge ship. It's a crossing. I don't have all the information. I'm going to get it to Tatiana to share with you, but there might be another big event coming through Anchorage as this ship makes its way around the world, I guess. I don't have all the details in front of me. Well, that's the other thing I don't have, but I'm gonna find, it's this coming here. And I was looking for, the crossings, doggone it. Anyway, but in our conversation about that, I was just sharing what some of the fun things we did back in the day. And once again, this would have been 2004 with Mayor Begich. So it's back. But I saved this kind of information because we thought at some point, somebody like you guys might like to reflect on it, get some ideas from it, and just kind of understand what some of the successes were for our group back then. And so what I've got here is, this is for the chair, all sorts of stuff's in here. Just thumb through it when you get a chance. Yeah, but as a commissioner, it might still be something. And then this is just some great history on each of the sister cities, the six at the time. I mean, we didn't have at the time, but it's got some newspaper clippings and, you know, I was talking about the whalebone, well, the article is in here and all that for Whitby. And then also, I see from last month's agenda that there was discussion about sister city flags at the airport. Did you guys identify a contact there yet? Because I just retired 2 years ago and I know nobody's left since I left. So if you need help with that, let me know. We did obviously change out, we raised new flags here at the Sister City Plaza. And I don't know if they are in disrepair yet or if they're all good. They're all good, looking good. I brought the information on how.
Pay attention to it when we vote.
Right. So this would be something for the chair.
Who pays a call? No, we need Mary back at least.
Where'd they go? So so this is, you know, things that we did, like we participated in the mayor's marathon. And by that we had table, we had a big banner behind us, Thank for Sister Cities, and we just passed out water and but all that's in here.
Where's the banner?
The banner, have you gone through either one of these closets?
There's all kinds of sisters.
There's
those.
Tons of good stuff in there, lots of good stuff. So that was some of the things we did. In here, I have saved old information, stuff from sister cities that you can just share with whoever's got that sister city. I did want to bring up two things that and then I'm done. Are you familiar with the Fall Harvest Festival? That was something that actually was started before I came on board. But, you know, we generated some income. So we'd make about $10,000. It was all donations. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was a blast. We had a couple hundred people come. We sent out cards like this. I'm leaving all of this with you guys. But so we mailed these cards out. We had a really good mailing list. We used to work with someone by the name of Nellen Budd. Nellen was amazing. We had great mailing lists. We would invite everybody to this type of event. We'd get a couple hundred people. They would buy tickets. The local breweries would provide the brew. And we also had donations from lots of, different businesses around town that would provide. It wasn't a sit-down dinner. It was just drinks and nice hors d'oeuvres. And we had music. And it might sound like, oh my gosh, how could we ever do that? We did it for years. And I have everything in here on how to do it.
You know how long that ran? Because I see like 7th annual, 8th annual.
I think it stopped at the 9th or 10th.
Okay.
Geez, I'm not sure. But it was, like I said, we would mix some funds. This is a big part of our, our funds that we used for.
I mean, that's serious fundraising.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it. We had a great
I mean,
team.
just the amount, that's fantastic.
It was good, yeah. And then the other thing we did, and this was fun, you know, it in some ways it might seem like it's,
Invite communities,
oh, yeah,
like our sister city communities.
absolutely. And this is how we advertised it. We talked briefly about this, but it's like guerrilla marketing / advertising. We took advantage of every freebie we could get to include the Spenard Builders Reader Board. So let me tell you, where there's,
Work.
the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way without much money. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this event to your attention. It was a lot of fun. The community was all in. We held it at the 4th Avenue for years. And then we moved it over to the atrium of the Arco building, ConocoPhillips building now. And they were happy to let us use that. And I believe the current president's from Norway, so you've got that. You've got that. The other thing we did, so yeah, this is just Fall Harvest Festival, all this here, including advertising, who we got donations from, what the auction items were, everything is right there. The only other thing I wanted to mention that we did was Good Friends of Sister City. So former commissioners, so it'd be like me and all the commissioners that were here throughout the years, and I know quite a few of them over the years. All of your honorary consulates were invited, and we would have a, just, once a year, we'd get everybody together. I've got sample letters in here on how we sent out the invitation. We usually talk the Atwood house, house over there, yeah, we were able to. No, it's at home. But, there's other places, I'm sure. But we just invite everybody there and would have a little reception. We would tell everyone how things were going with our respective cities. And everyone was interested in hearing about it. And as former commissioners, we fell under the Friends of Anchorage Sister Cities. We received an invitation and also a request for a donation. And it was $25 to $100 unless they really were generous, and then they just write a check for more. But, we were basically asking for funds to continue on with our mission. And, what you do does cost money. And I know you've got some funds available through the city, but it's nice to have extra funds available for other events that you might want to. Gifts, for instance, if you wanted to.
Hey, don't.
So anyway, I just wanted to kind of leave you with that. The lot of information into the chairs just on different things. So I wish you well. I'm a resource if you want to do any of these things and say, well, could you come down and help us get this off the ground or something? Like I mentioned, I'm retired now, although I'm a new grandma. So Lisa Christensen, who was the executive director of the Alaska World Affairs Council, would like to invite all of you to an event happening at Viking Hall on December 5th at 7 p.m. The ambassador to Norway is the U.S. ambassador of Norway. He will be here, and Lisa's actually going to be getting a little recognition, but it's also going to be a great opportunity.
The same invitation you sent.
But it is, but she only had your and Chris's email. She doesn't have any of the other. Would you distribute it to all the commissioners?
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, that would be great, because she had asked for that but hadn't received it and wants to make sure all the commissioners are invited. And we're going to have a waffle bar. So waffles in Norway are not like our waffle. Just saying. So and we're going to have adult beverages, and there'll be entertainment. So it's 7 o'clock on December 5th at Viking Hall. Does anybody have any questions for me? I guess we kind of covered a lot of stuff. But
when were you a commissioner?
Well, I was a commissioner for 3 years, so it was 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Do you guys still have your badges? Do you still have badges? Oh, they're really cool. I looked for my, I was going to bring it because they're really nice with the little, no, they're not pin. They've just got the magnet so they don't ruin anybody's clothing. But if you, I don't see it. Yeah, so, yeah, they're great for functions. It's like
They must have worked with.
Okay, well, if I find it.
Oh, yes, very lucky. Yes, she was our contact at UAA. And she worked with a lot of the international students.
Yes.
That was something else we did. We would actually go over to UAA, to the Cuddy Center, and have a miniature reception there. Once again, our funds were available through our own efforts, and invite those international students from their respective sister cities, or, you know, from Norway, for instance. They didn't actually have to come from Tromsø, but, and have just a little reception. So we did lots of fun stuff like that. Anyway, yeah. Okay, well, I'll leave you with all this.
Oh, actually, I'm really sorry, Emily here. I had a really quick question. So I'm trying to figure out how to like frame this. So how does like what part can the Sister Cities Commission play in a project that is related to one of our sister cities? So I have a friend, he is an artist. His medium is photography, and he is trying to work towards a project in Chitose, Japan, and he's wondering if the Sister City Commission, since Chitose is one of our longtime sister cities, is if we could support him in any way. And I guess the broader question is like, if there is a project from a local Alaskan or someone local to Anchorage who wishes to do something or like partner up with a sister city or has a project that is about one of our sister cities, could we support, or can we, or and if we can, how, or if we ever have in the past?
No.
Yeah, I don't really know how you could support them other than to maybe help them with the contact and branch out on their own. But
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I don't know that anything financially could happen, kind of like an individual basis like that, but I mean, you know, whether it's, you know, if the person were to come to Anchorage to help showcase their art here as, you know, something from a sister city, or I don't know, you know, like as part of like First Friday that it's exhibited somewhere, or, you know, I think,
yeah,
Maybe it would help to connect with the gallery.
Right,
Or,
yeah.
you know, just find the right connection, so we could start it. 'Cause a lot of times when you're starting something, the connection, that's what's most important.
yeah,
yeah. I'll look through here real quick, but I think we had the Highlander group want to expand their reach. I think I've got a form for that.
You can add it to that secret box.
Yeah.
Oh, the magical box.
You know, I saved stuff because it was like, I'll never remember this.
Oh my goodness. If you remember, you have them.
Well, this is what I did last night in preparation for you guys, because I thought they're gonna hate me if I just dump all this stuff on your lap. So, but we did get, yeah. Okay, so we got a letter back in 2004. So this was in reference to the Alaska Highlanders becoming an affiliate of the Sister Cities Commission. So that would ultimately, they're trying to see if they could become ambassadors through our program, making themselves available for functions both here and Whitby, because they were heading to Whitby. And when so there is, it's kind of been asked sort of similar to what she's describing. And then of course it's a decision that I believe ultimately the mayor makes. We were very fortunate when we had our group, because we had a liaison from the mayor's office. It was his chief of, Mayor Begich's chief of staff, David Ramser. And he was at our meetings. He was very supportive. That was our.
yeah, Marie is, she comes back.
Is she yeah.
She is the constituent relations director.
Fantastic. That's really important to have that. So this letter is
had
here.
various people have had like the assistant to the mayor, has been liaison, so there's always been somebody.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And that really helps for your efforts. So this is similar to what you're asking, Emily, except it's a little different, but this was just something for you guys to.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we have our wealth of knowledge here. Are there any other questions for Linda?
Well, and I can come back. I just wanted to, make sure you knew about the invitation. And I also, there's just some great ideas. I know you guys will come up with your own stuff, but if you ever want to bring that Fall Harvest Festival back.
I wonder if Hiroko was Hiroko involved?
He wasn't. It was before Hiroko, unfortunately.
Thompson was before.
I know. I feel like Hiroko is like legend.
Yeah,
Where's Hiroko?
yeah.
She's still in Japan.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I know. I was very excited about the renaming of Sand Lake Park. I saw that on the news. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Okay, so call me with questions. Tatiana has my contact. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you, Linda.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
Right, have a good one. So I think maybe we'll get to announcements of things, but let's go through the sister cities reports. So we'll start with Chitose, since we know there was a festival to report on.
Yeah, so gosh, it was a complete whirlwind, but it was really actually such an incredible trip. It was short, only 6 days, but they had us book in every single moment. And I don't think any of us knew exactly what we were getting into. We knew we were going to the Ainu festival, but it was so much, like, the exchange was so much richer than that, because really, so the Ainu is the indigenous people of Japan. And interesting, I thought it was interesting, they've only been recognized as such by the Japanese government since 2019. So they are in the very, very early stages of their battle for recognition, and they're really like grappling with how do they regain their heritage. So a lot of what we were there for was not only, so they wanted to share with us like what that heritage was, and then they were constantly like, they had dinner planned for us every night, and at every single meal, there was probably 8 or 9 kind of consistent from the Ainu organization. They had 2 different Ainu organizations and representatives from them there, but they were constantly picking our brains about how the Alaska Native structure works. And so it was amazing to have Ben Malott there as the president for AFN. And there were so many questions about not only from a heritage perspective, but also from like an economic independence perspective. And they're really in this really early stages where their big win right now is having gotten that recognition in 2019. And they're really at a what are our next steps spot. So we discussed a lot of different, it was rewarding for not only from the perspective of like really getting at this deep understanding of where they were at. And we visited, they have this beautiful, it's like a museum campus. It's kind of like the Alaska Native Heritage Center, but it's quite a bit bigger. We visited a school that is very focused on, it has both Ainu and non-Ainu students there, but it's very focused on teaching and including the Ainu culture and heritage within their curriculum. We went to Hokkaido University and talked to their program. It really felt like they had us busy from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. But the conversations around ANCSA and how identifying your priorities and what your objectives need to be, and identifying a way to gain political power, probably through property, and then the whole concept of corporations was really fascinating to them, and creating a means for economic self-sustainment, so that they, you know, really right now, the way that their structure works is the Japanese government has set aside a certain bucket of money that goes to, you know, Ainu encouragement programs, and all of these different Ainu programs kind of fight for that bucket of a piece of that bucket each year. And it's really very, and even some of the people that we spoke to, like they had this beautiful campus and they were like, oh, this beautiful museum campus. And I don't know how else to say it, but it was even some of the people that we spoke to from Japan, they were like, yeah, it's great, but it's kind of whitewashing everything. It's like the Japanese government version of, you know, okay, here you go. Here's your recognition. So so they have a long way to go. And they'll be up in Alaska next year for AFN. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for that. And I think we're going to try and see if there's some culture camp elements that we can get them to. You know, we're going to try and really make that experience a really rich and learning opportunity experience, because they're just so hungry for all the ways that they could possibly continue their own journey. So I don't know actually exactly what I expected going in, but holy moly, it was a really incredible trip. It was a really incredible exchange. And it actually, what it made me think of was particularly Tromsø has, it made me think of the other cities where there may be Indigenous people, and we should perhaps explore what that kind of exchange could look like. And, you know, because I think Ben Malott and Aaron Leggett, who is the Eklutna chief, and he also works for the museum, you know, I think they found the experience to be really enriching, and had good ideas supporting the work that they do. And I just thought, gosh, you know, the Indigenous peoples of our sister cities may be an exchange that we want to explore a little bit more. I know in Tromsø they have the Sami, I think it's Sami people is how they pronounce it. And I'm sure there's others. That's just the one that I happen to know about. So anyways, I have some pictures. I forgot my phone. I did not have my phone with me.
Oh, no.
Because I forgot it at my house.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
It was like,
oh, no, that's like a lifeline.
No, 100%. I got to the airport and like went to go grab my phone out of my purse so I could check in. And I was just like, oh my gosh, wait, what is going on? And then, and my husband had already left for, he had left the night before for Arizona with my son. So my sister is the one who dropped me off. And I was just like, oh my gosh, even if I borrowed a phone, I have no idea what her number is. Like, I don't know anybody's number.
Right.
So I went to Japan I went out of the country without a phone. So I was at the mercy of any pictures that anybody else was taking. It was, I mean, I was going to get a burner, or like I was trying to come up with all these ideas. I had my computer with me, so when I was on Wi-Fi, I could FaceTime or whatever, or text or email. But I mean, the city of Chitose, they're so on top of it. Like I didn't go anywhere where somebody wasn't taking care of me. So if I was gonna forget my phone on any trip, this was the one to do it.
Oh, great.
And actually, it was really nice to not have a phone for 6 days. I think everyone should try it. Like I didn't have anything dinging at me.
Yeah.
Slept really well.
There's research on that. For
Sure.
sure.
Yeah, totally
In a
true.
white country.
Yeah, but not in a foreign country, maybe. Try it locally first.
Did we lose, Lucy?
Yeah, I
I
think she
see,
dropped
yeah.
off.
And do we still have Claudia? And if Claudia said her phone was like on its last legs.
Yeah, I think she said her phone was gonna die. So that was the exchange. It was I'm actually still going back and forth because they had a lot of questions about particularly how the ANCs work. So I've been, and I work for an ANC, so I've been trying to find resources that translate well, which is kind of the tricky thing because the concept of an ANC, I mean, it's hard to talk to people in DC about it. So certainly when there's a language barrier, it's even more difficult. So, so the conversation continues, but it was really good. It was incredibly positive.
Thank you so much for the report. I don't know if Daniel has
Yeah.
anything to add.
Not tonight, not too much from me. Actually, I suppose there could mention just one small thing. There was the Tomono Kai festival that happened with the immersion students while you guys were gone. And that was wonderful to see this year. And there was a lot of involvement for some of the Japanese interns from Chitose that were here. And Tomodachi Daiko was able to play taiko again at that event as well. So just some cool things, but the continuing festivities, I guess, that always continue with the exchange programs here. So that's all from me.
Okay. All right, let's go through I'm guessing the other sister cities reports might not be as detailed, but Tromsø. You kind of updated
Kind of
us.
re-update, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will send invitation, what Linda mentioned for that event to everyone that's sponsoring. And I think the idea of they have some kind of event happening this coming year, which now is a big one, so I'll find out about date and we'll propose again.
Yeah, and even if it's a smaller, if there's, just a few people coming, if we can
Yeah.
kind of.
And also, since Elizabeth mentioned some indigenous people in Tromsø, maybe that we will think about it, how to play around that too, because that will be cool.
Yes, it would be.
And when is it next year?
So it's in October, about third week
So
of.
we'll see how, maybe that could be another.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Right, anything from Whitby?
Just that I sent an email home requesting a good mailing address if we decide to do a letter.
Okay.
That was it.
Darwin, I don't have much to update at this point. Claudia, maybe you do, but there's another, I guess, contact through their city that wants to work on some connections with us. I guess we'll see what happens when we hear from that person, but yeah, it's kind of vague at this point, so not much to report, I would say. Incheon.
Hi. Sorry. Not much to report on my end. But outside of Incheon, I've been encouraging my friends and my peers to apply for boards and commissions. I of course no bias towards Sister City, even though I have just, been sharing my wonderful experiences here and encouraging them to, if they want to apply, to check us out. But yeah. And also, Elizabeth, I cannot believe you lived without your phone for 6 days.
I know.
That's impressive.
I know.
I like my
Yeah,
now-
that's a word.
My heart started beating
So now
faster.
what's funny, I keep forgetting my phone now.
Oh.
Like I keep leaving the house. Oh, not completely. I'll get in the car and then I'll be like, I gotta go get my phone. Like
Oh,
it's
my
caused a new behavior.
goodness. That is surprising. You're my hero. But yeah, I'm working. Oh, and then in terms of communications with the city of Incheon, kind of working, brainstorming a little report in my head of just like the activities of the Korean community of Anchorage to share with them so they can see that, we're a pretty vibrant, active community here celebrating our culture and history.
Thank you. All right, and as Lucy is no longer on, I'm guessing there's no updates at this point from Harbin. So Is there any other comments or any other announcements? Good of the order.
I could very briefly mention a few things. In fact, Emily, there might be an opportunity here for the Korea relationship as well, because we're going to be, the consular office has decided that they want to start hosting a new event. And coming up in March, this is something that's still being prepared, but we have hopes of organizing an annual tourism conference to try to promote basically flight paths between Korea and Anchorage or Japan and Anchorage. There's been kind of a push to get a standardized route that direction for a long time. And it's not on the table anytime release soon. You know, we've had a lot of talks with the airline companies and etc. However, what can be said is that as we continue to promote and understand what's going to come from that route, there might be some growth there. So I'm going to talk with you probably a little bit more about that in the future, but that's something that, of course, we'd like people to participate in or take interest in as it happens. So just a heads up on that. I think that's probably the main thing from my end.
Exactly. Somebody agreed with you there.
Yeah, my kids are a little energetic at the moment. It's near bedtime. Sorry.
Yes.
Do you want to say hi, Amber? Really quick, just say hi. These are my co-commissioners.
Oh, there she goes.
Hello.
Oh, how cute. Hi there.
Hi, thank you, Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
All right, any other announcement? Okay, if not, need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay, Eddie and Tatiana. All right, any?
And really
Thoughts?
quick before we head out, just a reminder that next month's meeting would also be a week early, so that otherwise it wouldn't land on Christmas. So we would be looking at December 18th, and I believe there is a potluck tradition for the December meeting.
Yep, so if you look at the agenda.
Yeah, I
and
saw
then,
that. Nice. So.
Oh, yes.
Yep, all the things. So yeah, our next meeting then, I guess all in favor of adjourning.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so yes, next meeting then is the 18th. So if at all possible to be in person, certainly if people are already out of town, you know, we'd love to have you at least teams in and connect. So we'll probably try to keep meeting, you know, agenda items shorter if possible, like maybe under an hour, so we can, you know, enjoy some potluck and camaraderie would be great.
And I hope we'll fix the bank situation. by
Yeah,
then.
we understand people need some reimbursements.
We also reimbursements. and-
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned at 7:27. Thank you. See you next. See you in a few weeks,
Good night.
really. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Oh, yeah.